So today, Shannon and Lee are out in the garden. We got a lemon boy tomato that's ready to harvest. So Lee's gonna harvest that tomato. So what you wanna do?
You want to look for the little knot right here on the stem going to the tomato. This little knot right here. And that's what you want to just pull up on the tomato. And it should just break off right there. Like and it separates at that little knot.
So this is the notch that he broke it off from. And you can see in some of the other tomatoes. Like this one we'll probably harvest tomorrow. So that's the notch.
Right there.
So how do you know that this is ready to harvest?
How I usually tell when the tomatoes are ready to harvest is I just grab the tomato and just squeeze a little bit, and if it gives, the flesh gives a little bit, to me that tomato is ready. You can eat it right then, but prefer not as pesticides.
So we'll wash it off first. So you can see the multiple tomato plants we have. This is the Lemon Boy tomato plant. We have some cherry tomato plants in the front, which we showed. But that Lemon Boy tomato plant that we got from Home Depot,
Yep.
as a small plant, and we put it into the raised bed and grew it. So now we're starting to harvest tomatoes. This is actually the second tomato that we've harvested this week. So just wanted to share that, how to harvest a tomato off your tomato plant. We'll have more to come, and we'll also show you how to cut some of these sucker limbs off to kind of keep the air flow. So we're just going to show how you can trim your tomato plants. We got these pretty much trimmed down, but I just want to demonstrate what's a good limb to trim. So Lee's gonna trim this limb off the tomato plant that's pointing down here. It doesn't have any blooms on it. So let's just show. So he's gonna cut right at the end there. So let's just see, no blooms. And so what I mean by blooms, like this stem here has some blooms. They're kind of dried up, but you'll see some blooms there. So you don't want to cut too many of these off, but if you have to thin out your tomato plants, it's good to choose those ones. Here's another one. We're not going to cut that one.
Now, it's okay to cut them down low on the plant from maybe the ground level up to like a foot. And that way it keeps dirt from splashing up when water or from rain. And that helps prevent disease because the dirt from the garden has bacteria and stuff like that in it, and it gets in the leaves and can cause diseases like blight or rust, and that's what you want to avoid happening. So if you notice on the tomato plants, I got them trimmed down from the ground level up to maybe like a foot. The other thing that you want to look for to trim off would be sucker, what they call sucker leaves, which actually turn into vines, or because a tomato is basically a vine, but this is like a sucker that's coming right here. We got one right here, and then there's another one over here. Those actually take energy from the plant, so you want to, if you get them when they're small, you can just pinch them off. But if they get bigger, you can use your snips, whatever you have, shears, to cut them off and take energy from the plant.
So what does the tomato plants feed off of? Like what's good to fertilize your soil with? Say, just for instance, like we replanted our tomato plants in the same bed that we planted last year. So what do tomatoes feed off of?
Well, first of all, we've replanted our tomatoes in the same bed we did last year. I've heard that that's a no-no, and I understood why after doing it this year for the first time by myself, or for myself, because when you have your tomato plants that are actual tomatoes that fall off and they drop into the dirt, they'll actually come back the next year. The seeds from those tomatoes will actually come back the next year, and they'll be growing like little weeds, and you have to pull them up separate from the stuff that you actually have grown.
Because you don't want those small plants pulling nutrients and nitrogen from the soil.
Exactly. So, I mean, the only thing we really used was we used a mixture of topsoil, used a mixture of manure, and the only fertilizer that we used was
Bone meal.
Yeah, we used bone meal, and we placed a little bit of the bone meal in the hole that we dug it where we were going to plant the actual plant at, and that was it.
So the bone meal that we got is an organic blend.
Yes.
So, and you want to be careful that you read on the back of the bag. You want a certain amount of nitrogen percentage
Here's a sucker right here.
and things like that to feed on. So it's just not at the beginning when you're first planting the tomato plants that you need to feed the soil, because that's what you're doing. You're feeding the soil, then the plants are going to dig grab the nutrients from the soil. So once the plants are established, you want to put the fertilizer more at the root line or the drip line, so the roots can grab that from the soil. And like I said, you want to make sure you read the back of the package. The research that we did, it's kind of safer to stay on the more organic side as far as fertilizer, just in case you use too much, you don't run into issues with burning your plants. So just wanted to give some information on what limbs to cut to kind of thin out your tomato plants and give you a little bit more information on tomato plants. So Shannon and Lee, Everyday Living, Garden 2020. Thanks for watching.